Don't give them to me. What's up? I missed y'all.
What's up, guys? I'm over here trying to turn this thing off. Shut up. What's up?
What's going on?
Hey, MelBee and a cup of Joe. We're back. We've been off for 3 weeks. It's been a long 3 weeks. I missed you guys. What's up? Let me know what's going on.
Well, hey, yeah, that 3 weeks was definitely needed because we was going in hard the past few weeks before that. So, it felt good, felt a little weird too. On Sundays, I'm like, get my little nap in and I'm like, damn, I gotta get ready to do the podcast.
You missed your wives.
Yeah, so I'll be on top of it. And but yeah, I mean, it was definitely, it felt good though. I ain't gonna lie. But I definitely missed y'all, missed our fans and all that good stuff. So that's what's up. Man.
I enjoyed the break. Let me just say, I enjoyed the break, and I'm sorry the music keep coming on. But yes, the break was good. I was taking naps too, Joe. Like I got a little spoiled.
Man.
What about you, B?
I mean, I'm here. I enjoyed it as always. I enjoyed doing the podcast. I enjoyed my little breaks and my little self-care. So I'm for whatever. You know me. I'm down for whatever.
That's what's up. Yeah, definitely what's up. Man, but so I mean, how was the anything special happened in the 3 week break before y'all?
Well, I didn't get engaged. No. Nothing. Shit.
I seen you on some trips though on B.
Yeah, I went upstate New York. Went to go visit my kid's father with the kids, and we had a good time. We went to like a drag racing show. It was called Dragway. It was so dope and new experience. Got to see some crazy car racing and a lot of betting going on. So yeah, that was all I did on our little break. How about you, Joe? Anything exciting?
Not much. I mean, I finally got back to work, and so that was pretty good. I've been out of work for a while, just chilling at the house, just getting back into the flow of things, and my crazy customers and my crazy coworkers. So that's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, nothing really, really big.
Okay.
How about you, Mel?
I'm boring. Like I said, I took some naps.
Did you turn
Huh?
I said, did you turn every 2 hours? When you
so I don't get bed sores.
bed sores, right?
Actually, no. I was taking like little cat naps, like 20-minute nap here, an hour here. Nothing major. But I just enjoyed having Sunday to myself because getting ready for the podcast is hard work. Like we make it look easy, but it's a lot of prepping that goes in, and it is. So yeah,
I
enjoyed the break.
I think the best thing about it is we don't edit anything. We just raw and live as it is.
Right.
Come off the top of our dome. So that's the best part. But so we're gonna go ahead and jump into this week's topic, and it's called "Who Are You Really Dating?" And
Casper, the friendly ghost.
And pretty much everybody's like, "Well, what does that mean?" And when we say, "Who are you really dating?" Like when you meet people, do they have any kind of mental health issues, like legitimate, not the ones you be like, "Oh, this broad is crazy," or "This dude's bipolar." Those are actual mental health issues that you should really consider. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people, when we just go out on dates, people are like, "Oh, that dude is crazy," or "That chick is crazy," or "She did something crazy," or "He did something crazy." But have you ever discussed the fact, or have anybody brought up the idea that they probably have a real mental health issue? And I know Brandy and Mel have we've been dipping and dabbing and bringing up that issue before, but now we're gonna bring it to the forefront when it comes to dealing with dating and relationships.
Okay. Well, it's your topic, Joe, so you can lead off.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, so cool. So what brought me to the topic is one of my amazing friends. in the course of talking, she let me know up front, like, hey, I suffer from depression and anxiety. And I thought I would just let you know that up front. So if something goes down, then you know what it's because of that, and it's not because of me acting crazy. You know what I'm saying? And she, she said, hey, I take medication for it. I got a therapist. I got a mentor. So she's took steps and has taken it seriously for her to get to when she gets those down periods to get past those issues. You know what I'm saying? And it made me think like I never had anybody come up to me and be like, "Hey, I've got these issues going on with me." So I just go let you know right up front. Like if we ever go out somewhere, I tell you, "Hey, I'm ready to go," or I'm not, or I'm having that feeling coming over me. That's fine. That's her indicating to me that she's about to go through a phase. You know what I'm saying? So that for me, I was like, wow, that's pretty dope because, like I said, I've never had anyone come up to me and say anything like that to me. So
When
I
you
was,
say come up to you, you mean like anyone that you're dating?
yeah, just anyone I ever dated, period. Like, just be like, hey, just come. That's was the beginning of the conversation. Like, hey, I got just to let you know, I got this going on. Like, I suffer from these things. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So they, and I was like, that's different. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I think for a lot of people, I see a lot of my friends and family and everybody else that's out here dating. I always hear about these horror stories, and I'll be like, wow, maybe they did have true mental illness. Whether the person knew about it or not, that's a different story. But if they knew about it, are they afraid to tell you about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, what would you do if y'all met a dude and he came to you and said, hey, I have these issues. I have anxiety. I have depression. Is that a deal breaker for you up if they let you know up front? And then and he's saying, I'm taking steps to get over it, past it. What would y'all do in those situations, in a situation like that?
It, it depends on what the issue is. If it's like anxiety, I think I can deal with that. Depression, I feel like we all have depression. If they're being honest and upfront with it, and they're doing something to combat it, then I think I will rock out. But if they're like schizophrenic or have like really serious like bipolar, where they're having like manic episodes and stuff like that, I don't think I can deal with that because I have kids, and plus I don't feel that I'm 100%
Okay.
able to deal with anybody else that has mental issues right now.
Okay.
So it depends.
How about you, Mel?
Well, I feel like, mental health in the Black community in general is pretty taboo, and I like that you brought this topic up, Joe, because it's something that needs to be talked about, because the more we normalize mental health, the more people will have the courage to, be honest with their partners or potential partners. So I just want to say that. Personally, I feel like there's not everything is for everybody, and if I just meet a guy, like literally 5 minutes ago, and he's like, hey, I'm on medication, I'm like, I'm gonna feel a little, not because he has mental health issues, but because he's oversharing. Like, I feel like that's something that you kind of have to wait a little bit to see if the relationship is going somewhere. And if things get a little serious, maybe you can be open. But I feel like mental health is just like any other illness. Like when you meet someone, if you have like diabetes, or if you have like, sickle cell or something like that, that's not something that you share on a first date or initially, so that is your, privacy practice, HIPAA, all of that. Like, you don't have to tell everybody everything right away. But I do agree, Joe, that it is something that needs to be talked about more open, because people have problems, and just because somebody has like, I feel like mental health is taboo because people go through traumatic experiences, and it, it affects them. It affects the way they process information. It affects how they move in the world, but doesn't mean that they need medication. It just might mean they need therapy.
Right. Or a
Yeah.
good relationship, which can be therapeutic as well. If you get yourself into a good relationship, sometimes it might help with whatever mental issue that they may have. I feel like we all have mental issues, to be honest with you.
Right.
No, everybody has something that
To some degree, yeah.
I not understand how I deal with my emotions. You may call me crazy. Or I might not understand how you're constantly crazy or stressing over certain things. I'm call you OCD. So, you know, like Mel said, especially in the Black community, we definitely don't bring those things up because it's like, ain't nothing wrong with you. You just need to it, or you sport. There's all these different labels, but deep down inside, there's people where their hormones are off, their serotonin is off. They might need medication to balance them out to function properly. So it is very important, and I think that we need to really embrace it and understand that it's not normal, but it is normal at the same time, especially everything that's going on in the world between COVID killings and racism and just everyday living, the hustle and bustle, not making enough to feed your kids, pay the rent. That will drive a person mental off the back. So,
right. I think for the most part, and it is more than just anxiety and depression. Of course, there's obsessive compulsive disorders. There's all kinds of other disorders out here, and I think people are ended up trying to find a codependency with other people. You know what I'm saying? That have issues. I also had to sit here and think about any girlfriend I had. It made me think like, did any girlfriend that potentially have mental health issues, or was that how they were? And then you know what I'm saying. So I was just over here reviewing all this stuff. I'm like, wow. And then I had to ask myself, I got it. Do I have? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be honest with yourself. Do I have an issue? Do I need? It's something I need to look at, like seriously look at about myself. And then
probably.
I've been single for 4.5 years, right? So yeah. But
I think that you just wait for the right person. I think that being single is gonna do it without mental health.
Yeah.
Just, nah.
And then so I think the biggest thing now is if you when you meet people, is that going to be a question you're going to have from now on when you meet somebody, and if they going to be upfront and honest? Because if you think about it, back in the day, when you had mental health issues, you were killed, tortured, thrown in prison. So the stigma was big. Luckily, they don't do that anymore. Mental health is a real issue, but you really will have to consider asking that question, like, hey, hey, what's some things you like to do? Hey, you like to go do this, go to movies? Oh, yeah, by the way, do you have any mental health issues in your family that you know about? And they probably gonna laugh about it. It's like Freddie did. And but you're gonna be like, that's a serious question, because you could be like, hey, I mean, if you got something that you need help with, let me know right up front. That's how I feel about it. Now that's how I feel about it. Before I didn't know it was a question.
The first date, you're like, hey, brothers and sisters do you have? Do you have bipolar disorder, PTSD? Like, you're gonna ask that on the first date?
Probably not on the first, maybe the second. You know what I'm saying? Or it's over a conversation before. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to take somebody out that's super bipolar, and to be like, and then they just acting out in the middle of the street, and then you looking crazy and they looking crazy, and you don't know what to do.
But that's not what bipolar is.
Well, I mean, I know that. I mean, just making a quick, brief example like that.
I think when you're dating, it's important, especially when you're looking at marriage, it's important to see how someone is in every season.
Yeah.
Because people have chemical imbalances where they might get super depressed in the winter, or get manic in the summer. Just because you know somebody for 2 or 3 months doesn't mean that you know them.
Right.
Different things happen in people's lives that trigger things.
Mm-hmm.
And might bring out another side of their personality, or even something that you might do could give them a flashback of a relationship they was in, and they might lose it. Like, you know, it might stir up like trust issues with them, but that don't mean that they have like a mental issue because they have trust issues. That's like trauma, you know?
Mm-hmm. So would trauma be to a degree some kind of mental health with like PTSD almost?
It can be classified as that because some
Right.
people don't get over it. And if you don't know you have PTSD and you don't seek help or support, then it's just going to be something that you carry on with you in every relationship, everyday life. So,
Mm-hmm. So let's say if you end up finding out something about yourself about mental health, would you go get help?
of course,
I go to therapy
I've
every
been to
day.
therapy. I've been to therapy twice, 2 sessions. Both of them did not work out. I'm still looking for a therapist now. But yeah, I have no problem. Melissa's my therapist.
She be like, "What did your therapist say?" I get therapy for me and me. But yeah, I've been going to therapy for about 2 years now. Yeah, 2 years. And I have my therapist is a Black woman. She's about 10 years older than me. So we can identify. I can identify with her. And
Okay.
it's sometimes where I feel like, like I'm a therapist. Like she be talking to me so sometimes you need people to talk to. And therapy is not like there's a difference. Like I think people don't understand like there are psychiatrists,
Mm-hmm.
there are psychologists, and there's therapists, there's social workers, like there's so many levels to addressing different needs within the mental health community. But therapy is more to talk to someone to get like an unbiased opinion about, or just an um, and a psychiatrist now treats like mental health issues. Like you can actually get diagnosed and get medication or treatment based on whatever issue you have. So seeing a therapist is not like doesn't make you crazy. It just means that you're at a place in your life, bless you.
Thanks.
You're at a place in your life where you're not going to hold certain things in. Like you want to. Sometimes we can't talk to our friends about things that's going on. Joe, you better not be watching the game.
I'm not. I'm not.
You bringing up trust. I got trust issues. Every time I see guys going, I feel like the TV is up there somewhere. You're not paying attention.
He's like,
Look, this topic, and he bored as soon as I start talking.
Not at all.
No, but I feel like people, there's nothing wrong with therapy is all I'm saying. Like there's nothing wrong with talking to somebody and not wanting your business out in the street, or some people they might talk to a friend that knows another friend, and then all of a sudden everybody know their business, or they tell a cousin, now the whole family know. So sometimes you need therapy just so that you can have that confidentiality and that safe space to open up and to get, because like sometimes the best therapy is hearing yourself talk, like hearing your thoughts verbalized.
Mm-hmm. That's what's up.
So I go.
So what would you feel like would be an appropriate time to tell somebody that you're dating about your issue? Or
About what issue?
if you have any kind of like mental health issues, what would be an appropriate time for you to think to tell them if you get serious or whatever?
That I have a mental health issue?
Yeah. So this is not a good idea to do it on the first date. So when would be a good time?
He said, yeah. You saw that, B? Because I said no, Joe, I asked Joe if he thought I had a mental health issue.
You said there was nothing wrong with therapy now.
I mean, that's up to him to determine. Like, I mean,
I'm saying if you hypothetically, like if one of us had a mental health issue, when do you feel like it's appropriate to tell the person that you're dating? I say by date three, if it's going well, I'm definitely gonna tell them, like, listen, I got Adderall in my bag.
Like, listen, I feel like if I have a mental health issue, like I gotta be serious about the person. Because I feel like that's really none of his business. Like I'm being open about me going to therapy on a podcast because there's nothing wrong with therapy. Like I've never been diagnosed with a mental illness. People that I may have dated back in, the day may say that I was crazy or whatever, but that's their opinion. Okay, that's their opinion. That's not. I don't have no diagnosis. I don't take no medication.
Yeah.
But I will say that I don't know. As soon as we become monogamous, I guess, or if we ever become in a sexual relationship and it gets serious, like I might, decide to stay. I don't know because I don't take meds, so it's hard for me to like kind of say when is the appropriate time. Like I feel like every situation is different. So you don't trust everybody like that to disclose certain things about yourself.
So you say pretty. So pretty much you saying that you be like, okay, I'm gonna give him some pussy, then I'll be like, aha, hey, I got by the way, since you got
this bitch crazy.
Like, hey, I didn't say I was giving him none either.
Man, MelBee on top of it ain't getting nothing.
You ain't gonna know how crazy I am. Everything's a secret. You just have to wait.
The door is closed.
So all right. So just to briefly stray away from the mental health part and staying on the who you're dating part. When do you feel like it's time for a guy or a woman or somebody you're dating? I guess guys in your situation, for them to meet your children, family members. Do you have a time limit you set, or is it based upon the chemistry and the energy, or what?
I'm gonna say chemistry, energy, and we have to be an item. It has to be like, this is my man. We're working on something, but you're not my kids. I had a two men rule and done. That's it. The next guy that meets my children, we got to be getting married. Like, there's no way I'm introducing another man to my kids if we don't have marriage in the future. That's it. Point blank period. It doesn't make sense. What do you mean my kids for?
Good. What about you, Mel?
I'm not even telling nobody I got kids.
Damn.
I don't trust these people out here. It's certain people that I feel like kind of choose targets based on certain things. And I feel like some information is not absolutely necessary. Like if I'm just meeting a guy and his first question is, so how many kids you got? It's a dub. Like,
All right. Well, I mean,
like I don't know this man. Like, why are you asking me if I got kids?
I don't know. I think that's a conversation part because then he'll know what angle to go at you.
He'll know how to treat me. He'll know whether or not he can take me seriously if I have kids or not. Like, no.
Nah, I mean,
or it could be. You can't look at it like that. It can also be he might not deal with somebody that does or doesn't have kids, so it might be, a gauge for him as well. Like, oh, she don't have no kids, and or she has too many kids, and it's a two-way street when it comes to dating.
Well, I don't know. I haven't been dating for a while, so I don't even know what I would do. What they ask now.
Nah, I think the kids.
All this is hypothetical.
All right, so I do have a funny story. My aunt recently just told me that she's giving up on.
Don't make me laugh because I'm thinking this stuff here.
My aunt told me she recently gave up on dating because one dude that she didn't even meet over, the whatever dating site asked her to see a picture of my cousin, of my male cousin, and she was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, let me see a picture. I wanted to see what you look like." Like, what? You even met? Yeah, we haven't met each other. And this dude asking for a picture of my cousin, my male.
For a kid, or I'm confused. Say that again.
Yeah, my cousin. So my aunt was talking to a dude over the phone that she met on a dating site. The dude, as they talking, the dude is like So I have two cousins. I got a female cousin and a male cousin.
Her,
The dude
her
was like,
children.
yeah, her children,
Oh,
and
okay.
he asked for a picture of my male cousin. He was like, let me see a picture of him. And
See,
she was like, what?
that's why you don't tell. That's why you don't tell these people that you got kids, because they. I'm telling you.
I wouldn't ask for no picture from nobody. I can say I can ask you if you got kids, but I ain't gonna ask for your. Hey, let me see pictures of your kids real quick. Yeah, that would be suspect as hell right there. So after that, she done. So
I think
yeah, I mean,
I think the kid question is good because there's some guy I've dated somebody who wanted to do like a date with me and my kids. He had a son, so he was like, "Oh, let's take the kids to the park." So that was that was cool.
kids are the thing.
How many bedrooms you got? You got 2 bedrooms?
Yeah, that's cool. That's different.
But yeah, it's true. Like it was like more of a like,
That's
oh,
different.
the parks together, blah blah blah. I got a son who's around the same age. Does he like basketball? Blah blah blah. You got that new 2K that's coming out.
Exactly.
I mean,
Right. Exactly.
I don't know when I start dating, it's gonna be to get away from the kids, like to have some me time and adult time. Like I'm not trying to be bringing my kids on dates, especially if I just met this guy. Like that would kind of. Now I feel like the ideal relationship for me is a friend. Someone that I already know, and I know him, for a while, and we know each other's kids. We know, and something just sparks. But that's fantasy world, I know. That's fantasy land.
Right. But I mean, it's yeah. It is. Yeah, I think that's a good question because I know I met back in the day. I met somebody that had 9 kids, and I was
mayonnaise jar.
like, wow. She had 9, and it was it's he just processed it. I was just curious that just how did she get to that point? And she was like, she wasn't even 40 yet. So I was like, wow. So it was, it's definitely a question.
We're talking about people with 9 kids. We're supposed to be talking about mental health.
But that would so the person with 9 kids, that goes on your mental health because it all ties back because you can be
like you have 9 baby daddies.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
I'm gonna lead up to why I mentioned that because you come to find out she did have a mental health issue down the road because she
I'm saying there's a cap to certain things, and that's one of them. Kids or triplets.
I know I know a few people got. Oh man, it was crazy. All I know is when I talked to her, I was like, I was just like, just get to know her. I'm not trying to judge her off the amount of kids she has. So I was just like, cool. I'm talking to her, and it ended up being cool. So she ended up liking me more and more. And then she became ultra submissive. Like she was just like, so yeah, I'm really digging you, blah blah blah. We should go out on dates. And then she was like, if you want, I'm gonna give you my Facebook password, my credit card numbers, and the pins.
With the 9 kids.
I was like, why you yeah, and I was like, I thought she was playing.
How long was that together?
We wasn't together. We were talking. It was like 2 months.
Yeah,
it was 2 months.
I can't.
Yeah, we were talking over the phone because she lived all the way in Savannah. And he was just talking. So I was like, okay. And then she was like, yeah, I want to give you, you could just go ahead. I'll take all the money and give me an allowance. And I was like, oh, okay.
Well, how many?
That's why she got 9 kids, because she's submissive.
Like a mom.
So, yeah. So, how many baby fathers does she have?
I think it was at least 3. Mm-hmm. No more than 3. I think most of it was from her husband. And then and then she had another situation. I ain't gonna put all her business out there, but it was a bad situation.
What was the mental health issue? But now he's just talking bad about this girl.
No, I don't think he's talking bad about her, but I think that does tie into mental health because you have 9 children to care for, and you're already offering a man your money, and just to keep someone, have someone, that's a mental health issue. She has issues.
She just has like codependency issues, and he was needy. That doesn't mean that she was crazy. It just means that those certain parts of her personality.
Well, I'm all right. I'm gonna go.
Mental health umbrella. Codependency is a mental health issue. I know too many people that are codependent.
I'm gonna go deeper into it. So, what it was her husband had got her pregnant at a young age. He was like, I think she might have been 14. He was like maybe 30 at the time or near 30. And I was like, well, he's not dead. He's still alive. And she was like, yeah, the family told him to go ahead and marry her. I was like, what? I was like, wow. So during the course of that relationship or that marriage, he was very controlling.
I don't mean to cut you off.
Well, everything she could do a certain way.
I think it's a little good. No, I don't mean to cut you off, but we gotta run.
Cool. Oh yeah, you got to.
And pay some bills to our sponsor, Edmund Gary.
Got it.
The commercial. We'll play.
Ready right here. All day, every day.
It'll play in a few seconds.
In a few seconds.
This is what 3 weeks off do.
That's the wrong one, y'all. Woo. See what happened?
We could do the mannequin challenge.
Definitely was traumatized.
That is traumatizing, Joe. I want you to pick up your stuff because that's interesting shit. You don't hear stuff like that nowadays. 19 kids. That shit crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot. There we go.
Here you go, Edmund.
Edmund Gary of Follow Me will dispute the negative items being reported, request verification of the debt, and ask for a cease and desist required by law. Edmund Gary of Follow Me will monitor and watch your credit, addressing issues as they arrive to get you back on track for a good FICO score. Call Edmund Gary today at 404-437-2028 for a personal consultation on credit repair. The best cards for rebuilding your credit, second chance bank accounts, and how to buy a home. Edmund Gary, owner of Follow Me, says that credit is not forever, and I can fix it. Follow me.
Follow me.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
that is our sponsor, Edmund. Follow him to EC Credit Repair Solutions. 2020. You don't want to roll into 2021 shit with effed up credit. So follow him over.
Right.
Link in the bio.
So back to the story. So I actually opportunity to meet, and when we met, she was I couldn't do it. It was too much for me because she was ultra submissive. Now, if I would have caught her like 15 years ago, that would have been a whole different story. Like it would have been like, oh man, it's on and on.
So the
19 didn't bother you. The 19 kids didn't bother you.
No. I mean, like I said, I try to just
a deal breaker.
You know, and the thing about it was the other key factor was the kids didn't live with her. They was living with the dad. So, and most of them was already.
I know we're talking about mental health, and I'm not trying to play anybody, but you got 19 kids, and
she had 9.
9 kids. You have 19. It doesn't matter. You got 9 kids. None of them are living with you. You're ultra submissive. You're giving out your credit card information. That is a mental health issue. Yeah. And I'm sorry to say, like at 14 years old, you get snatched up by a 30-year-old. Right there, she was in a messed up relationship. PTSD, depression, all types of issues. So I'm happy you didn't go that because you could have been, you know.
Oh yeah.
And that
because that's would have been real. bad energy because as he kept pouring it on, it got worse because not worse, but it got crazier because it was to a point where she was around me, she was just timid and she would just stand at like attention. Like that's what her husband used to have her doing, and she would have to ask me can she use the bathroom. And I was like, go use the bathroom, like for real. I'm dead serious. And this woman and she was an ordained minister on top of that. So she just had all this stuff going on, and she was
Lifetime movie written all over it. Let's move on to the next subject. Mel, have you dated anybody with mental issues?
You're gonna sit here putting this whole lady business like damn.
I mean, really, lifetime written all over it. I hope that she's fine. Seriously, because that's a lot. As a woman with 2 children, 9 kids, and she probably went through some traumatic shit with her husband or whatever. I just hope those kids are fine, and I hope no one is taking advantage of her, because that's right there.
Or maybe Joe just threw that thing down on her, and she was just ready to give him all her money.
Nah, that wasn't it at all. What it was.
That's not what happened.
That's not what happened at all.
I'm feeling like, you're not having faith in your abilities right now. Maybe it wasn't her. Maybe it was you.
I have my faith in the ability of the gift of gab, so I know how to talk to people and give great advice and all that good stuff. But other than that, I can't. As far as my dick down abilities, that's a whole different thing. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, she is yeah.
I thought we were talking about this lady no more. Like, we talk about mental health and why Black men don't like to go to therapy and take medication.
Yeah, that's true too.
I feel like this is what I want to say. I feel like a lot of society always revolves around women and sexual trauma, but what we don't, talk about is Black men having sexual trauma too. A lot of children, not just girls, but boys too, are molested.
Right.
And based on how they are, their initial view of a woman, that shapes how they view all future relationships. And it's a lot of the reason why it's a lot of men that can't keep their thing in their pants right now and out here, So I think we need to talk about that. What are Black men doing to address their mental health revolving around how they view women and sex?
I think for men, sex is controlling and power for us, and it's not gonna be. I don't think it's gonna as Black men as it is. We already come down hard on when we show any kind of weaknesses or any kind of situations where we feel like, hey, I got an issue with me, and I got issue with, you know what I'm saying? That's not kind of typical conversation that dudes have with one another. I mean, unless it's like you really your homeboy that you really fucked with for over 20 years.
We're not talking
but
about having conversations about them being sexually traumatized in the barbershop. Talking about going to therapy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not gonna. I can't speak. I just know with just men being men, and then on top of that, you gotta look at the views of how women are viewing us. You know what I'm saying? They just being like, "Hey, you the man. You supposed to handle this. Supposed to handle that. You supposed to handle this." So after a while, the dudes.
That is a form of handling it. Going to therapy is handling it. Getting help is handling it. If your friends are telling you, "Yo, you got an issue, something is wrong with you," and your girl is telling you, "Babe, I think you need to go to therapy," I think taking that step forward to go to therapy and getting help is handling it. And I think that's the best way you can handle it. Because you can't talk to a bunch of guys that are doing the same thing that you're doing about an issue. You need help. Not you, but I'm just saying some guys
you're over there feeling attacked.
Not to know any man out there. I think the barbershop, the locker room talk or whatever, I think that is a good start. Some guys don't even have that. And I think if you can at least express it and get it out to another guy and try to get some type of feedback, I think that is a good start. But some of y'all really need help. Like help.
Oh yeah, no question about it. No question about it. I mean, and it's not even like, and not to say that barbershop talk is always bad, because there's always a dude or two in there that be on point and give you some real good advice. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I'm trying to look out for you as a man to man. Like, it gets serious in there sometimes too. It ain't all about jokes, but I think, usually that's not a suggestion that we get from women. Like, hey, you need to go see a therapist. Usually, they just be like, nigga, get your shit together and handle it. That's it. What's that? Handle it mean for me? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be like, okay, I ain't gonna say that's for somebody to come to me and say you need to handle it. That means for me, that means I need to shut down, not express how I feel, not express what I'm going through, and find some other way or outlet to deal with whatever I'm dealing with. And therapy was not an option, and that wasn't a suggested option, and it's probably usually not going to be an option, unless somebody really just pushes it to be like, hey, you need to see a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But I think for mostly in the Black community, that's just a joke, regardless, because people don't, we just don't believe in going to see a therapist.
Nope. Therapy is the past.
And I'm not saying that's not a bad thing.
You're right.
Absolutely, I believe it. I definitely believe that's the right. So it's a.
Oh, I was gonna say that because when you're open about, like, myself, for example, I was open earlier in the podcast and saying that I go to therapy or whatever. Like, I've had someone try to throw that in my face before, because I've made posts about trying to normalize mental health, and I feel like that's why a lot of people don't talk about things in the Black community revolving around mental health, because they feel like people are going to make fun of them, they're going to be stigmatized or whatever, and it's horrible, because a lot of the time the very people that are teasing you for being open and upfront need it themselves, or need something more intensive, and I feel like that's another problem in relationships, where a lot of the times people are gaslighted into believing that they have mental health issues because the person is trying to manipulate them to not believe what their mind is saying about that person. Meaning, like, that's if I'm gonna stop saying women, like, even though I'm a woman, but let's say a guy is dating a girl and she's cheating on him and he catches her. And she's like, oh, you crazy. You have mental health issues. Like, you need to go to therapy, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, she's lying. She was cool. But now this guy, because he loves her and he cares about her, and may have some self-esteem issues, is going to look at her like, wow, like, maybe I'm crazy. But I feel like that's also another problem. Like, people are gaslit by narcissists. Into believing that something is wrong with them, believing that they are, out of their mind and they're insane for exposing the truth about something that they, witnessed or whatever. And that needs to be, you got to be secure within yourself when you're dating, so that you don't try to be, just believing anything somebody tell you about yourself.
Right. Right. And I want to go back to that word narcissist, because that is the worst person to ever date. I don't know if you ever dated one, Joe, but they will make you feel like you're the craziest person on this earth. You start to believe it. You start to act crazy because they're telling you every day that you're crazy. But in all actuality, they're doing all of these things. They're cheating. They're treating you like shit. They're not being truthful. And you really, if you're not really in the beginning, if you're not secure, then it will destroy you. Like, it took me years. To this day, I'm still overcoming those two relationships that, like, pretty much made me feel like suicidal. Literally. Like, I've tried to commit suicide before because of relationships. And I never did therapy behind it because I just could not find the right therapist. But, like, thank God I have good friends, good family, and, Mel especially. We had therapy to go to. The podcast, just like reading books, going online, praying, whatever, to get me through. But yeah, that shit is real. Like a person can really mind fuck you into making you think that you're crazy. And in all actuality, they're the crazy ones. They're the ones that need to go see a therapist. But you know, it is what it is. I mean, I just hope whoever's listening to this podcast, if you are suffering or in a relationship where someone is making you feel crazy, or if you do feel like you need help, seek help. There's nothing wrong with it. There's really nothing wrong with it. There's enough things in this world to make you go crazy and get the help that you need to survive, because it's serious out
there. And let me give it to you from a different angle. Have any of y'all dated a pleaser?
A what?
I learned about a pleaser last year. A pleaser.
A person that's like really, no. I'm the pleaser in every relationship, so no. Unfortunately, I haven't, and I'm okay with that.
All right. Well, that's not always a good thing. Right, so the pleaser I did a while back. Oh, go ahead. You want to say something else?
You said a pleaser, like somebody that just like constantly like gives.
They just no. They just giving, like, wants to hear you. They tell you everything you want to hear. They don't. So if they have an issue with you, they won't tell you.
No.
They just be like, okay. So you'll be like.
I've had a relationship like that, and I've also had friendships like that, and I feel like those are like
one of the worst kind.
Yeah, it's like so superficial, because you can never, like, I feel like those people are also like really trying to manipulate you, like, to be honest. Like, nobody likes what you're gonna say and do 100% of the time. Like, that's not real, you know. So, what were you gonna say, Joe?
Right. Yeah, it was. I never ran into a pleaser like that before, and she just said everything, and yeah, I was like, hey, you know, everything good? Man, it's great. Like, she just ass it up, and then, you know, and I'm like, all right. So when she kept doing it, I was like, no, you got an issue. You could talk to me about it, right? And not just be like thinking everything's great, because I can tell everything's not great. And I would intentionally do something so I could see if she would say something about it. And she didn't say nothing about it. Like, hey, so what about the other day when that happened? She'd be like, oh no, it was great. Oh, it was cool. It was great.
Now that is some crazy shit right there.
So did you also, like, instead of looking for her, and I'm going to try to shrink you for a second. You were looking for her to criticize you in some type of way, but did you allow her that satisfaction? Did you ever criticize her?
She never put me in a position to
criticize
her outside of the fact.
Criticize her, and so
I mean, outside of the fact of just saying, I think you need to express yourself if something is not going right, or if you have an issue. That's the part I was saying. I did bring that up to her, like, hey, I see that everything's always happy-go-lucky, and yeah, and I mean, especially when I knew I intentionally did something to make you respond to see if you was gonna say something about it, and you didn't do it, and you just like, oh, okay, yeah. So
my point is, how do you feel like she didn't feel the same way about you? Like, you weren't really direct in the sense of, like, hey, you too damn agreeable. Like, have an issue. Like, I know you might have an issue about something. Like, for instance, yesterday. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's a two-way street, and I'm not trying to, like, attack you, but I also want to let you know that sometimes in a relationship, when we're dealing with people, we're expecting certain things from them that we're not willing to give. Like, we might want somebody to be real with us and be upfront about having an issue, but then when a confrontation, you know, we kind of shy away from confrontation when it comes to expressing our own and our own, like, disdain. So, like, I don't know. Did you guys hear me? Or did I break?
I'm just waiting for Joe to answer, because
I think the biggest thing for me is that I typically look for when the time when everything doesn't go right, when we have a disagreement or something doesn't feel right and about how you handle it. How do we handle it? Do we get past it and move on, or do we address it and get it fixed, or everybody just start ghosting people? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'll be looking for in that situation. But I mean, like I said, I mean, I think in any situation, any relationship, you always, I think, you know, I don't, I saw the difference between it being a situation where, all right, cool, you just meeting somebody, everything's going great, y'all just complimenting each other back and forth, versus it being an overkill of it. Like you just, and it ain't nothing bothering you. You can't say no, you won't say no, even when you're supposed to say no. You know what I'm saying? And I you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I never dated a pleaser like that before, so that's all it is.
Marlon said,
Out the house. I'm done. Well, that's the
Straight
problem.
fact.
House together, so we can't kick you out if it's your house. You know, that's the problem. Y'all always living with us. It's not.
Whoa, man, that's a whole nother topic.
I think that's part of the issue too, is that a lot of the times people, you never know how somebody feels about you until y'all get in an argument.
Or until they're drunk or around their friends. You're absolutely right. I feel like a relationship with no arguments is not a real relationship. Everybody argues. I argue with my kids, my mama, my brother, everybody. So it's not a real relationship if there's not some type of arguing, not fighting, but arguing. Disagreement. No one agrees at the time. So back, I would feel like I would not want to date somebody that you like mentioned, like a pleaser, 100%. Everything is like yes, yes, yes. You do everything right. I would know off the back. I'm not crazy, but I'm not perfect. Nowhere near perfect. I know I do a lot of hurt people. So, and I do it on purpose sometimes because I like to get that. I like to like
you and Joe with this doing stuff on purpose, though.
I do like to do certain things. I like to see I like the fieriness. Like I don't know. That's just
you like the confrontation
sometimes, and I'm a very not controversial, but I like to debate a little bit. So it cannot be.
Are you confrontational?
Not really confrontational, but I do want to debate sometimes. I don't want to always agree on where to eat, where to go, what to do, what position we're going to be in. No. What movies
are you going to be arguing? I want to be on top. No, I want to be on the bottom.
I ain't no bottom bitch. Now let me stop. No, not position. I mean, if you arguing during
it's been a while. That's where my mind went.
Yeah, but I feel you on that, Joe. It's like it can't be perfect all the time. I've never been in a relationship where there wasn't some type of disagreement.
Right.
My last situationship, he was really good at calming me down. Like if I was getting upset over little things, like he will find a way to like bring me back to like normal. Like just relax, chill. It's not that serious. So I appreciate that side of it. But I cannot be with somebody that's going to let me be me and purposely do shit and you're not going to say nothing. I need to get air choked a couple of times. I'm sorry. Not physically air choked, but like put me in my place. Like Mel said, if that girl was constantly yes, 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 why didn't you put your foot down? Like, listen, stop playing with me. Like you know, I done climbed up your juicy juice. And you ain't mad? Like, nah.
I had the conversation with her. I did have that conversation. Like, look, I was like, I sat down. I was like, yo, like, you really need to like stop with the like everything's great because I know it ain't. You know what I'm saying? I did something intentionally, and you didn't respond to it.
Like, nothing. Forget her. Watch the playback.
Okay.
Listen, Greg, I'm caliente.
But yeah, you know. Hey, hold on. What you drinking over there, B?
Listen, I found some shit. It's got 2.9% alcohol in it, and I haven't drank in a while, so it got me feeling a little hot.
Yeah.
Thing.
I couldn't even do my little. But go ahead, Joe. I'm listening.
But nah, I did have that conversation, and like I said, for the most part, I do that intentionally either because I feel like that you get to see where you stand with a person. If you can get through something hard, it's easy to be everything agreeable and everything's great. But what happens when you don't, when it's not agreeable, when it gets hard? What do y'all do? And if they don't truly value what you have or what you got going on, they easily can back out and just go ghost. But if they truly value you,
I'm trying to interrupt you, but those are the people that ghost you. Those people that agree. I feel like those are the ones that will just one day go to work and never come back. That's how I feel.
I think the ones who just pretty much. They could do that, and then also too, I think if you don't have some kind of, you gotta mix. If you don't have some kind of put yourself in a position where you make it uncomfortable, then you ain't really gonna truly tell. You don't want to get all the way to the point of getting married or getting into a serious relationship and meeting kids, and y'all ain't even had one disagreement yet. And then when y'all had that one disagreement, it's a blow up, and then they just out, and then everything just out the window. So I think it's necessary for you to have a situation where you're gonna have something that you don't agree about. And you ain't gotta be all extra with it and make it something crazy, but do something that's going to show how are you going to respond to this when things don't go right all the time. Are we going to deal with it? We going to talk about it? We going to be mature about it? Are you going to curse me out? Or are you going to just walk out? Or are you going to just be like, fuck it? You know what I'm saying? We just need to know where your head is at, because that's the toughest time. That's the best time. That's the most honest time for you to figure out where you're going to go with something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with
that's
you,
just
Joe.
Mel.
Yes.
She said my lip gloss is my lip gloss is now.
Y'all see me over here just because I feel like I'm talking much.
Yeah, that's great.
No, but I be feeling like I talk too much, so I'm trying to work on shutting the hell up
and just listening. Wow. Yeah. She's working on how to be submissive. No. No, I agree with you, Joe. And just to bring it back to the topic of mental health, everybody has issues. It's all about how you take them, if you can deal with them, and if it's something that can be treatable. Because some mental health issues are not. Thank you. This show. Thank you. This is not every mental health issue can be worked on. Honestly, I feel like if it's too far gone, if you haven't gotten the help, like there's some guys and women that are just codependent on mommy and daddy taking care of them, or codependent on, their boyfriend, girlfriend taking care of all their issues. So when they enter into a relationship of a masculine man or a very masculine woman or whatever, and they're not getting that codependency type of support, they don't know how to deal with it. Like the spoiled brats. Have you ever dated a spoiled brat? Like that is the worst. Like date a man that's a spoiled brat, a woman that's a spoiled brat. It is such a big turn off. And that's mental health too. Get your shit together. Like, come on. We adults here. I'm not fucking taking care of you and cutting your sandwich a certain way at the edges. Like, get us together. I'm sorry, I need to charge her.
But hey, so I got one more question before we dip out. If you got into a situation where you like somebody and they felt like that you was really helping them get through things, would you feel like that would you feel trapped in the situation? Like, would you feel like, okay, if I leave this person, they're gonna completely break down? Do you feel responsible if you ever get to a point where a person with mental health, would you be able to feel like you can escape that if it didn't work out to your liking? Would you feel like it would be selfish for you to leave them?
A part of me, yes. If I really like you, if I start to love you, you're always a part of me. And it takes a lot for me to love somebody. So if I say yes, you're a part of me, yeah, I'm going to feel somewhat responsible. And I never leave you 100%. I would just kind of like break up, but not like be with you, but I would also help you. Like whoever I ever dated, yo, I never had a bad relationship. Like broke up, still friends.
Okay. Hell, the expression in your face, I can't wait.
Melissa's like, I'm done. Lock myself up. Change my number. Change zip codes. Melissa,
yeah, well, with me, like once it's over, just move on with your life. Like no.
You ain't got time to be treating nobody's mental illness, even if you're
No,
the catalyst.
I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about like holding on to people. I don't.
Okay.
I'm working on that part though, because I cut people off too quick. That's one of my challenges that I talk to my therapist about being a little bit more tolerant, because I'm quick to like block and delete.
control.
I don't care who the hell you are, but I'm getting better with that. As far as like mental health, being with somebody and feeling guilty about leaving, I guess that answers the question. No, I wouldn't feel guilty about it, because unless he's my husband. I've never been married before, but that type of loyalty I would reserve for my husband. Someone that I'm dating, someone that I'm getting to know, like I can suggest them getting help. And when I feel like it's out of my scope or it's draining me, like I gotta go.
Yeah.
I have to be able to preserve that for myself, because if you give so much to a person and they're not willing to help themselves, like you have to know when to kind of wash your hands of it and wish them the best.
How about you, Joe? Would you like continuously?
I mean, I will usually, I know how I am. Yes, I will usually probably like be some kind of support and hang in there, to give them an option. Because I don't like.
Y'all make me sound like the complete.
Hang in there, buddy. Just
bitch, like. So I'm the only one that's like
the ice queen. Yeah, ice queen. Yeah, you got it.
I don't think she's an ice queen. I think that Melissa just no nonsense. Like I don't got time for it. I got a lot going on. I don't have time or the space for the extra energy right now, which is perfectly fine, because that's a part of healing. That's a part of mental health, and that's a part of self-care. So maybe we need to take a page out of her book, because me and you might be constantly dealing with people that have mental health issues, and it's really draining us, and we're not even noticing it. That's why
that's true.
Since 1902. Maybe that's a problem that we have. But I empathize with a lot of people. Like I really would be your friend, and I would try to like Melissa said, I will refer you to a therapist. I will send you little messages like hang in there, like you just
you got it today. Hey.
If you feel like suicidal, call me, talk to me. Like I will talk you off the edge. That's just me. Like, I mean, I guess that's why I'm in the medical profession. I like to help people. I don't know. That's just who I am.
I mean, I will say that there's a difference between walking away from someone and not caring, and knowing that it's causing more harm to yourself staying in that relationship, even if it's a friendship. Because I have, friends that I grew up with, like that I've known for years, that I don't talk to as much, not that they have mental health issues, but it's certain people that have to want more for themselves. Me wanting more for you is not going to help you. You have to want that for yourself. You have to like be putting forth the effort to do that. And if I don't see you doing that, and I'm like waking up out my bed, you calling me at 3:00 in the morning, oh, I'm in this situation, like, that's when it comes to a point where you start draining yourself, like y'all said, like the person is not willing to help themselves. So you can't. It's either you stay and they drain you, and the situation never corrects, or you wish them the best and work on yourself. Because like B said, nobody's perfect. Like we all have our own issues to work on. Like when you taking on someone else's problems as not your spouse, not your child, like, and it's that it becomes detrimental to your health, you have to evaluate that and say, like, what is the purpose of this? Am I just being a martyr? Do I feel like I'm gonna get some type of reward for defeating myself and coming to the rescue? Like,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, because you could, yeah, because I've heard that before that you could make other people's problem your problem, and you
Mhm.
could absorb that in your days affected and all that good stuff. So yeah, I guess I definitely could look into changing that and not make it available for everybody because you shouldn't feel responsible for everybody's well being
Yeah.
and then take on that burden as well with them, and then and then it brings you down as well. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, me and Brandy could definitely reevaluate. Ain't that right, B?
We do. We need to reevaluate.
Yeah.
And I also want to say, just like with any relationship, friendships are the same. If someone is always taking, that's not beneficial for you. Like any type of relationship that's worth keeping in your life is a give and take. You
Right.
know, you can call me at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna answer the phone. Can I do the same thing? Like, are you gonna be there also to support me?
Right.
And that's how you look at is something worth keeping, like a friendship, relationship, whatever. And is it reciprocated? You know what I mean?
Right.
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 To wrap up our topic today in our podcast, I want to say whoever's out there with mental health issues, if you know someone with mental health issues, please get help. There's nothing wrong with it. You don't have to let anybody know. Just get the help that you need because it's just to live. It's to survive. It's to take each day and live it. Like, I hate to say the word normal because I feel like something is wrong with everybody. Something is wrong with everybody. But if there's something that's really troubling you, whether it's suicide, suicidal thoughts, abusive relationships, whatever it is, seek the help and get it. Because it's like life is too short. Like, look at all the shit that's going on in the world right now. Get the help that you need so this way you can live a prosperous life, a happy life, and so you're not a burden on everybody else. Because that is important. Like Mel said, being a burden on other people, that shit is a drain on us or other people or whoever you're dealing with in your life. So get the help you need.
And I will also say, because I saw this in a meme, that people that have like anxiety, they feel like they don't want to bother people, their friends and family, because they always feel like they're being annoying or they feel like they're being a burden or whatever. And that's how you know you need to go to therapy or you need like some type of counseling, because that feeling might be true, but it also might be all in your head. Like, you're not, don't feel like because if you're suicidal, like, oh, I'm not gonna talk to nobody about my problems because I'm a burden. Like, no, go talk to a counselor or a therapist so that you won't. That's their job. They're getting paid to help you.
Right.
But that's also part of taking the initiative and helping yourself. You can't always rely on your friends and family to bail you out of situations and then play the victim like, oh, nobody wants to help me and I'm just a burden to everybody.
Right.
Take the steps that you need to take to help yourself so that all of those people will now jump at the opportunity to help you because they know you see you trying. So at least try.
Right.
And so pretty much, I think today was definitely a great topic on the 3 week break coming back off. We will be back at scheduled program.
Not on schedule, even though it's at 6 o'clock, but CP time, we be here like 6:15.
5, 10, yeah, something like that. Definitely definitely for all our fans out there, taking account for other people. If you're gonna date somebody, dating new people, meeting new people, even if you don't have to date them, you just want to be friends. Just taking account about, if they act a certain way, is it a mental health issue or is it just them? Try to figure out the difference.
Or is it you?
It could be.
One thing got you, and it's 4 point back. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, yes.
You know what?
It's not always other people.
Yeah, that could be. That's true. That's true. Always take a look at yourself too. So, but yeah. Like I said, I'm glad you guys are back. We back on here. We looking forward to continuing and keeping the ball rolling. And we'll be. Hope y'all. We'd like to have y'all on here to join us for our next topic.
And share the video.
Share.
Like MelBee, follow our page, subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes, that's important.
And don't forget the donations, Cash App. It's right down there.
Yeah, Cash App is down there somewhere.
Yeah.
And also, if you have a suggestion for a show topic, throw it in those comments because we definitely take suggestions, ideas, topics. If you want to be a part of the show, let us know.
Don't be shy.
Issue you cannot afford therapy. I am here to talk to. I will listen all day long. I don't care. Hit me up. Hit any of us up. Whatever.
Don't hit me up.
No,
don't do it.
I ain't taking off that.
If you have mental health issues, seriously, I'm here for it. I will not put your business out there like I joke with that girl with the 19 kids. No, I'm joking. I wouldn't put your business out there. If you need help, you want to talk to somebody, I'm here to listen.
See, it's professional because we're not professional. We're not medical professionals.
Sometimes people just need someone to talk to.
But we do have Ask Joe. Tell them about Ask Joe.
Oh well, so Ask Joe has actually hashtag Ask Joe, and what you could do, ladies, guys, whatever, you know what I'm saying. If you got a question about some dudes, or dude, you got a question about a woman, I might have an answer for you. You know what I'm saying? I could give you a good suggestion, and it's not a professional one, but it'll be a great suggestion. And feel free. Like if you don't have, I know a lot of women out there that don't have a male person that they could go talk to about their problems with other dudes, and you know what I'm saying. And I want to be that outlet for you. So if you feel like you want to do that, reach out to Joe. Hashtag Ask Joe. And
hit up the inbox or our message on MelBee. You might air your question on the show, but you will be anonymous.
Yeah, pretty much. We'll definitely keep you anonymous.
Unless you want to be known, then we'll put you on the spotlight. But yeah.
All right. Well, we had a great show. Everybody have a great Sunday, and have a great week until next Sunday.
Later. Thank you for tuning in, everybody.